So those of you who have watched previous videos know that I make hospice blankets. I belong to a charity. They provide the yarn and basically I weave a blanket out of it. Most people knit or crochet, but I end up doing the weaving basically from it, and I enjoy it thoroughly. The problem is that you are pretty much kind of roped into whatever colors happen to be in the packages you get. You'll notice that I have two types of purple. I didn't have enough of the same type of purple, so hopefully that doesn't detract from the blanket there. Basically, I put enough of a warp on for two blankets. They're going to be 28 inches by 60 inches each. The problem that I did with this particular one is that I use an 8 dent reed, and I ended up doing, I usually do 8 EPI, so 8 ends per inch in my sectional, as you can see down here. But in this particular scenario, I don't know why, but I ended up putting 10 in each one. So I'm not sure if that's going to cause a problem with the stiffness of the blanket or not, but we shall see. So the hospice blanket that I originally had wanted to do basically was the rainbow colors. I was going to do a twill pattern in black, and I was really excited about that. I ended up threading things accordingly. I found a pattern in Anne Dixon's book. I thought that it would work, but as I went along and started to put in the weft for the black yarn, it wasn't coming up properly. So I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I went on to one of my Facebook groups, showed them pictures of what was going on, asked them, "What do you think is going like what's happening and how can I fix this?" So it was suggested that I try a different thickness of black yarn. So I did. I went for a much thinner yarn. And it had to be acrylic. So, it still wasn't coming up with the pattern that I wanted. So finally I gave up. I decided to just do plain weave and be done with it there. So basically let's take a look at what I've got so far on the loom. We shall see. So from the front side of things, basically, you can see that I decided for one of them to basically do 7.5 inches for each color, basically going from black and then doing the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and then purple, and then black at the very end there, and see how that's going to go for the 7.5 inches. I hope it looks okay. The second blanket, I'm going to make much smaller squares. I think I'm going to follow the actual pattern of going from one end of the colors from black, red onwards all the way up to the other black. So basically kind of doing a rainbow in both directions. So obviously the amount of the length of the squares will be or the rows will be far narrower than what they are right now. So if I actually feel the blanket doesn't feel any stiffer than what it usually does when I'm actually weaving it. And right now I'm just using plain weave, so it's nice, it's easy peasy. There's nothing really complicated in the actual weaving of it. You'll notice, and I'm not impressed with myself, but it's a little bit on the weavy side there. So obviously when I tied it on, I didn't. The tension obviously is slightly off because it hasn't gotten better, but hopefully once it comes off of the loom, it won't be really all that noticeable, and things will go well. So let me finish up weaving my two blankets. I'll take them off the loom, and then we'll take a look and see how they look in the end. So I took the first blanket off of the loom there. As you can see, I'm pretty impressed with it. I've washed it. I just have to take off the little bits and bobs, that have the threads that have come out. We can see a little bit here if we come closer there. These little ones here where, the threads basically came out a little bit, they need to be snipped. For example, I did my border, as you can see here. The hemming, I used my walking foot, worked beautifully. Definitely ironing definitely helped in that regard as well. Okay, let's take a look at the second blanket that I also took off the loom. So this is the second one that came off the loom. As you can see, there's a little bit of finishing of removing of threads and so forth. It has also been hemmed and thrown into the washing machine there. I actually like this one a little bit better. The squares are a little bit smaller than the other one, and it does have a nice feeling of softness that acrylic will have once you've washed it, because it's not Doesn't usually feel all that soft before you actually wash it, but that's what the hospice requires of us to do. The length, as I said, is 60 inches by 28 inches. So again, nice to be able to wrap around somebody who's getting cold and who may have issues regulating body temperature. So these kind of blankets would also probably do quite well for anybody who's a senior, for example. Obviously, anybody who's seriously ill as well. Okay. So I hope that helps, and hopefully you start trying to do some projects here for charity. Every little bit helps. Have a great day.